nice to be able to talk to you finally. We're missing you so much here at school, hearing about some lovely learning that you're doing from Rosie and Amy. Looking forward to seeing some more this week. We've got another Julia Donaldson book to do this week. This week we're doing Zog and the Flying Doctors. I hope you enjoy. Zog and the Flying Doctors by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. Meet the Flying Doctors, a dragon knight and girl. Their names are Gadabout the Great and Zog and Princess Pearl. Pearl gives people medicine and pills and vaccinations, and Gadabout is expert at performing operations. Zog is good at flying, though not quite as good at landing, but Gadabout and Princess Pearl are always understanding. Here they are. Flying high one morning, they heard a mermaid wail. "I'm sunburnt and it hurts," she cried, and swished her scaly tail. Bang, crash, thump! They landed. The mermaid's skin was red. Pearl rubbed in some special cream. "And wear this hat," she said. "Thank you," said the mermaid, and she waved a fond goodbye as the team of flying doctors sped away into the sky. As the sun rose higher, they saw a unicorn. He pawed the ground and whinnied, "I've grown an extra horn." Bang, crash, thump, they landed. "I'll help you," said the knight, and he cut off the horn gently to the unicorn's delight. "Thank you," said the unicorn, "for taking so much care." The team of flying doctors sped away into the air. Halfway through the afternoon they heard a lion sneeze. "Achoo! I've caught the flu," the lion roared. "Can someone help me, please?" Bang, crash, thump, they landed, and Pearl said, "Take this pill, and do keep warm. That's terribly important when you're ill." But the lion's cave was chilly, so Zog said, "Fetch some wood," and he breathed out lots of flames until the fire burned bright and good. "Thank you," roared the lion. "I'm feeling nice and warm." Then the team of flying doctors sped away into the storm. As evening fell, they saw a great big palace down below. "My uncle's house," said Princess Pearl. "Let's go and say hello." Bang, crash, thump, they landed. Pearl's uncle was the king. He didn't say hello. Instead he said, "You naughty thing." "Where have you been?" he thundered. "You look an awful mess. What's happened to your crown, and where's your pretty frilly dress?" "But uncle, can't you see that I'm a doctor now?" said Pearl. The king replied, "Princesses can't be doctors, silly girl." That's not a kind thing to say. He told his men to seize her and to lock her up inside. Princess Pearl was furious. She stamped and stormed and cried. Weeks went by and Princess Pearl spent many weary hours sewing pretty cushions and arranging pretty flowers. The others tried to rescue her with all their might and main. They simply couldn't manage it. All their efforts were in vain. Each night they flew to visit her and perched upon her sill. One dark night she told them that the king had fallen ill. The king grew worse, his head was sore, his arms and legs felt weak. His skin had turned bright orange, and he found it hard to speak. He called a lot of doctors, a new one every day. He croaked, "What is this illness?" But they simply couldn't say. They didn't know the answer, but Pearl was pretty sure. "It looks like orange fever," and she read about the cure. Grated horn of unicorn, a mighty lion sneeze, some mermaid scales, a little slime, and 1/2 pound of cheese. She told the others what to get, and "Do be very quick. My uncle could be dying. He looks extremely sick." Away flew Zog and Gadabout. They reached the lion's den. Bang, crash, thump, they landed. He sneezed for them, and then they flew back to the forest where the grateful unicorn was very pleased to give them his unwanted sawn-off horn. Back to the mermaid's rock they flew, she gladly gave some scales, and her sea snail friends allowed them to collect their slimy trails. Oh, those snails remind me of a different story by Julia Donaldson.
Yeah.
Zog said, "I'm exhausted," but he flew and flew until... Bang, crash, thump, he landed on the bedroom windowsill. Princess Pearl said, "Thank you for the scales, the slime, the sneeze, and the horn, which then she grated up with half a pound of cheese." She tiptoed to her uncle's room. The king lay in his bed. She held a spoonful to his mouth. "Now open wide," she said. After just one spoonful, her uncle felt much stronger, and after spoonful 2, he wasn't orange any longer. After spoonful 3, the king was dancing with delight. "Princesses can be doctors. You were absolutely right. I'm sorry that I locked you up. Of course you must go free. But do come back to visit me and bring your friends to tea." "Hooray!" cried Pearl, and out she ran to join the other two. Then off into the sunset sped the Flying Doctor crew.
Hi Year 1, we hope you enjoyed listening to the story all about the Flying Doctors. We thought it was a really important story to read at the moment because the doctors and the NHS and all the people who work for the NHS are helping us right now. Maybe one of the things that you could do this week is research all the different jobs there are in the NHS. I know that lots of you this week have answered our seesaw activity and said one of the things that you would like to do when you grow up is be a doctor. So maybe you could do some research into what kind of things doctors need to know, or there are lots of other jobs in the hospitals as well, like nurses or scientists. So have a go at doing that this week. One of the other ways you could help thank the doctors is by writing them a letter. A few weeks ago we looked at this poster, our I Can Write poster, and it's all the things that a good letter needs to have. So let's just remind ourselves. It needs to start with dear, and it needs to end with from. You need to use the word I when writing because you're writing from the first person. And as a challenge, see if you can ask a question. Maybe you could write a letter to one of the people who work for the NHS, thanking them for all the work that they're doing, or maybe asking them some questions about their job. Any letters that you write, you can post on Seesaw for us. Have a look at the other videos that I'm about to show you for some spelling rules that we're teaching you and some other activities that you can do at home. Have a lovely week.
One of the activities that you might want to do is comparing two books. So this week our book is Zog and the Flying Doctors. But when we were at school, we also read the book Zog. And they're two books, both by Julia Donaldson. And you might have a go at home at having a think about what is the same as in these two books and what is different between these two books. If you can't remember the book Zog, then I think BBC iPlayer has a video version of it, and you can listen to Becky read Zog and the Flying Doctors on our YouTube channel, and then see if you can compare the two books by making a list of things that are the same and a list of things that are different. This week, one of the things we're going to look at is a new spelling rule that you need to know in Year 1. And the spelling rule we're going to look at is these 3 letters which you often see at the end of a word. An I, an N and a G. There's 2 sounds, I, ng. I and ng together make the ing. And they are often found at the end of words. And they're often found at the end of a special type of words called verbs. Now, we've learnt about verbs before. Can you remember what a verb is? A verb is a doing word. So it means in a sentence, it's the word that tells you what the noun is doing. So I've made a verb poster here. I've thought of some words that are verbs. Can you help me read them? I'm going to put the sound buttons in as we read them. I've got h, l, p, help. I've got eat, eat. See if you can read this one. L, k, look. This is a tricky one. F, l, and then the Y at the end makes the I sound here. So fly, like the doctors in our story. Can you read this one? I'll put the sound buttons in to help. Sleep. Sleep. Remember, this sound can be ow or it can be o. So we've got g, r, o, grow. And lastly, run. So I've made some verbs. And now I'm going to see what happens when I add the suffix ing to the end of these words. And it might change them slightly. So I'm going to use a different coloured pen for this. So eat, and then I'm going to add I. Eating. Look. Looking. Fly. Flying. Sleep. Sleeping. Grow. Growing. And help. Starting to do my joined now, all of my letters joined. Helping. So I've changed the tense of some of my verbs. Now sometimes there are some funny rules which you get to learn about a bit more in year 2, so don't worry for now in year 1. But sometimes if the vowel is short, we have to double the consonant, we have to double the last letter. So here, my word becomes running. So see if you can think of some verbs, some doing words, and then see how many of them you can add the ing sound, the ing suffix to at the end to change the tense and how you might use them in a sentence. For example, without ing, so hear this word here, I am going to help my mum, or you can use the verb I am helping my mum. Have a go and send us a photo on Seesaw. When you've made your verb poster, you might want to challenge yourselves and write some sentences using those verbs. So I've chosen the verb sleeping, and first I've written a sentence without the suffix, and then I've written a sentence with the verb that has the suffix in. So for example, I'm going to wonder if you can read the sentences that I have written. I'll put some sound buttons in to help you. Tricky word. Another tricky word. I went to sleep. There's my verb sleep. And the noun is I, because that's the person in that sentence. And then I've changed the sentence slightly by using the suffix. Let's read it now. I am sleeping. And you can see I've got that suffix ing. So I've got two sentences that have a slightly different meaning, a slightly different tense because of that suffix ing. Now, when we're writing our sentences, it's really important that we use our writing toolkit to check. So I've written some sentences here, this time using the verb looking and look. And I want you to see if I've done my 3 things that are really important. The 3 things in our writing toolkit are we must remember to use full stops, capital letters, and finger spaces. So let's check. I'm going to use a Think Pink pen to help me here. I will look for my toy. Oh, I wonder if you can have a think about it at home. What mistake have I made in this sentence? Yeah, I've forgotten to use a finger space between these 2 words. That's okay. If I make a mistake, I just get a green pen, I cross it out, and I just write at the top, finger space, and then my correction. Have I forgotten anything else in that sentence? Yeah, I've forgotten a full stop. So it's okay. I put Think Pink, and I'm just going to do a nice little dot to remind me. I will look for my toy. And then I've used the suffix ing in this sentence. I am looking for my toy. I've got a full stop. I've got a capital letter at the beginning. We always need a capital letter when we're doing the word I. Can you see anywhere I've made a mistake? I wonder if you can see what's wrong here. Yeah, I shouldn't have used a capital letter in the middle of my sentence unless it's someone's name or the name of a place. So I'm just going to rewrite this word. I'm really practicing my joined writing now that we're at the end of year 1. And remember, a capital letter doesn't get joined up, but a lowercase letter does get joined up. I am looking for my toy. See if you can have a go at writing some sentences using your verbs.